Hey everyone, Mr. Overon here with Mr. Overon's Tarot Reading Services, and today I am here to talk about spell work and why it doesn't work sometimes. First and foremost, you need to know the anatomy of a spell. A spell is nothing more than an advanced form of prayer. In a prayer, you pray to God that things turn out your way, or that God blesses you with whatever you're asking for. A spell is really no different than that, except for there's extra steps. First and foremost, you have to formulate your spell. You have to really think about what it is that you want your spell to do. Then you have to find the appropriate god or goddess or spirit to ask for this petition to happen. Or if you're doing a universal spell where you're just putting that thought out into the universe by saying, I call upon the untold bounties of the universe to help me receive $574 to do home repair. Okay, that's fine and dandy, and that will work also. But typically when you are petitioning to do a spell, or you are petitioning a god, goddess, spirit, whatever, you are asking them essentially to please make this happen for you. So the reason that won't work sometimes is that God, spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it, doesn't always have the ability to make those changes right then. A general rule of thumb when casting a spell is to set it and forget it, kind of like a crock pot. You put all your ingredients into it, and then you hit the timer and you walk away. Well, with magic, there's really no timer. I've seen spells work instantly, or I've seen them take up to 5 years to work. It really just depends on what you're asking for. Magic follows the path of least resistance. And whenever you do any kind of spell or magical working that would change the course of things, you are essentially building a dam and rediverting that energy into making something come to you or go away from you or whatever else. So a lot of times there's a lot of unseen things that all just kind of work together. So say for instance you wanted to cast a love spell on someone. Well, first of all, if it is going to work, that spell will have to first work on that person, and then the ripple effects from that are immeasurable. But let's say that this person is really enamored and just in love with someone else. Well, the ripple effects would hit that person, and if it was meant to be that you two are compatible or could come together, everything in your target's life has to fall apart in order for the domino effect to lead back to you. So that person and their boyfriend or girlfriend have to start the processes of breaking up. Then there has to go through the whole grief process, and then has to put you two on the same collision course as one another and all this other stuff. That's why love magic is considered black magic in a way, because you are taking the will away from someone else and focusing it on you. At the very, very basic definition of black magic is any time that you are changing somebody's will or working magic against them or for them without their permission. I know that's really weird. Well, who would want to have someone use magic on them with my permission or whatever, you know? I'm at a loss for words right now, you know, just trying to think of everything and getting tongue-tied. So, you gotta think of it that way. Just because you have cast this spell doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work. Now, the more simple the request, the faster, easier it is for it to work. But if it's taking a long time, you've got to know, realize, and understand that it's probably because the magic that you put out there is still working, trying to get that situated for you. So, if you are like really wanting a job, for instance, but this company doesn't have any hiring or any room for new employees or whatever, Great Goddess Mother Divine, please help me get this job. I know that I would be good at it, and this, that, and the other thing, and boom. You send that out there, blah, 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 blah. Now, what happens is your spell has this rippling effect. Okay, so now you are affecting all the people's lives at this location, hoping that you can get a spot there. So you're putting that out, putting that out, putting that out, putting that out. God, I just hope I get this job. I hope I get this job. I hope I get this job. I hope that I get this job. That now means that somebody within that position has to be fired or let go or their hours cut or something like that. When you are doing spell work for any kind of personal gain, always direct it to the abundance of the universe instead of one particular thing. I need a job, or I need money, or I need this, or I need that, you know, whatever it happens to be. I found that 9 times out of 10, when I direct it to the universe in general, that it comes quicker for me, because the universe is such a large, bountiful place, or being, or whatever you want to call it, that let's say I'm asking for $20. I would say I'm calling upon the untold bounty of the universe to bestow me $20. Let it not come from any one particular place, but just that to come into my life. Okay, simple, whatever. You know, it would be a lot more elegant if I actually took time and thought it out. But what you are then doing is pulling from a gigantic source. So we've all lost $1, $5, $10 here or there or whatever else. But asking for it to come from the universe versus coming from somebody directly, you are pulling from all the energy from wherever to make that 20 come to you. Now, if the other thing that you always want to word your spell with is that it harms none or brings hardship unto none, because you don't want that repercussion coming back at you. Yeah, it's just $20, but that $20 could have been brought from somebody who desperately needed that last $20 to pay their mortgage or pay their lights or pay for their kid's prescription or whatever else, and now you're taking it from that person and it's come into your life. That's why a lot of times in like Wicca and stuff like that, you will hear, don't use magic for personal gain, because you don't, that's because you just don't know where it comes from. I learned a long time ago to petition the universe and to ask my gods and goddesses and my patron saints or whoever in a general sense. You know, I would stand at my altar and light up a green candle and just be like, Great Goddess Mother Divine, hear this prayer of mine. I stand before you, a humble servant of yours, in desperate need of this financial blessing that I am asking for. The money that I am asking for is going to go toward my rent, go toward buying new brakes for my car, and also go toward just helping me come up a little bit. I ask that this money be blessed to me and brought to me from unknown sources that do not cause harm or hardship to anyone else, that it comes from the untapped bounty of the universe, and that it freely and easily and harmlessly comes into my life so that I may take care of the things that I need to take care of and be blessed by this gift. Great Goddess Mother Divine, I ask that you take this petition of mine and help me in my magical ways. As so above, as so below, so shall it be. There you are. Super simple. Just right off the top of your head. And you are giving, you know, this money that comes into your mind or whatever. I find it for my own personal use when I categorize what the money is going to be used for. Like if I really need a new pair of shoes, I really need new brakes or whatever else, I need just an extra couple of bucks toward rent, what have you. I find that if I itemize it and I actually use whatever money I get toward those things, that I am continually blessed by the gods and the universe, or whatever you want to call it, and that my small requests lead up to bigger things. So at the beginning of this year, 2019, about October, November, sorry, I have a sneeze stuck. So about October and November, I really started doing manifestation magic. And every night around midnight, I would burn bay leaf with come to me our Don Juan Dinero oil, money oil, and Florida water. And every night I would do this whole little ritual where I would write what I needed and wanted on bay leaves, start a fire in my cauldron, and then meditate on each leaf with the petition written on it. So I wanted to get a new camera, I wanted to do some traveling, I wanted to be able to get my passport, and I wanted to have enough money to enjoy myself while I was out and about on these travels. So I started this about, let's say, October 15th. From October 15th to December, let's say 15th, every 3 days I lit a green candle, and every night I did the bay leaf spells. Now, the candles that I'm talking about are the big, like, glass candles that you get at the Dollar Tree. I went out and I bought like 60 of them. Not quite 60, I'm just exaggerating a number here. But I went out and I bought a bunch of them. And each candle burns exactly 3 days. It's supposed to be 7, but the one that I get are the ones that I get from the Dollar Tree, typically only burn for 3 days. So I would do my little ritual where I would burn little shreds of money along with the bay leaf and the Don Juan dinero and the Florida water and the 4711, along with ground up key dust. Key dust is like when they make keys at a hardware store or whatever, all the files and the shavings that come off of it, that's key dust, and that's used in voodoo and other types of magic like that for like signifying road opener or unblocking, because it's keys and it, you know, whatever. That's a whole nother story and a whole nother video. But anyways, so I would put together these little this little concoction, set it on fire, pray over it, and then take my big green candle and wave it around in a clockwise motion, signifying that I'm drawing that into me, that I'm imbuing it. Then I would take the Don Juan dinero oil, or Don Juan dinero and Florida water, and I would dress the candle. I would pray over the candle with my intentions, and I kept my intentions pure and pure thoughted. I didn't think of, oh, I want so-and-so to give this to me, I want so-and-so to give this to me. I just thought of like all the great things I could do with this money when I got to travel, and like the places that I would get to see and all this other stuff. I didn't really have a destination in mind. I just knew that I wanted to travel this year, and that I wanted to see something new that I haven't before, and that I didn't want to go to California, and I really didn't want to go to Oregon. I wanted to go to a whole new place that I've never been before. So every night at midnight I would cast this spell, and I would do the bay leaves, do the little fires, and then when the candle burnt out completely, I would read the glass to see how the candle burned, and then I would move on from there and light up another candle, and then I would draw sigils all over the candle, and I would put denominations that I needed or wanted, and then I would list on the candle what I wanted it for. So I would be very broad in my terms. Money for travel, money for shoes, money for nice clothes for traveling, money for my friends, money for my family, money to pay this bill, money to pay that bill, so on and so forth. And I just did everything all at one time. So by the time December came rolling around, it was toward the end of December, almost January. I know Christmas had just come and gone, and part of my spells, or part of that money spell, included money for being able to take care of Christmas gifts or all that other fun stuff. So right after Christmas, I'd say about the 28th of December, I get a phone call. Hey, Michael, how are you doing? It's been a long time, you know. I was thinking about something, and, you know, hypothetically, if you had the choice to do so, would you go to Alaska or would you go to the Caribbean? I said, well, you know, it kind of depends on what time of year it is, you know. I don't want to go to Alaska in the winter, and I don't want to go to the Caribbean when it's hurricane season. So, you know, if it's during the summer, I would think maybe like Alaska, because I've always wanted to go to Alaska. My grandparents went for their 50th anniversary, and it seemed like a really magical time and a really great place, and they did all these wonderful things, and I would like to see the same things that they saw. And so, you know, our conversation kept going back and forth, And later that night, I had to redo my candles and redo everything. And I got a call about a week later saying, well, we are going to go to Alaska, so get your passport. Well, wait a minute, how am I going to Alaska? You know, I don't have that kind of money right now, and whatever else. Don't worry about it. You're going to Alaska. It's going to be my birthday present to you. Seriously? Wow. You know, okay. So I went on an Alaskan cruise, and I had all the money that I needed for that cruise. I had money for little gifts and treasures to like go out to eat while we were on this cruise and all this other stuff. I didn't say, universe, give me the ability to go on a cruise. I just asked for the ability to take the trip, and a trip was provided to me. I'm not saying that that's going to work for everyone. That's just how it worked for me in that short period of time, from like the beginning of October to about December 28th. I put a lot of manifestation out there. I manifested a brand new two brand new cameras, my trip to Alaska, my passport, luggage, new clothes, new shoes, and it was one of the best times that I have ever had. I got to see wildlife. I got to see parts of the United States that I've never been to before. I got to go into Canada, which I've never been, even though I live 40 miles from Canada. But I got to go to Canada, and it was just this amazing experience. And I have to chalk that up to my petitions and me just asking generals, like putting it out into the universe, that this is what I would like to have happen. So, you know, since then, I have continuously been blessed. And the other day, I did a spell just giving thanks to the universe, to the gods and goddesses and spirits and everything, because I felt extremely humble and extremely just satisfied and happy that this happened for me. Now, one thing that you cannot do, and I've talked about this in other videos, is do not think of the universe as an ATM machine. You cannot just sit there and keep pressing on the doorbell button. Hey, universe, I need this, 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 I need this. It doesn't work that way. That's not what magic and spiritualism is all about. It's not there to be your personal ATM. You have to actually put work in. You have to actually be 100% humble and 100% thankful for it. You've got to just be willing to put in at very least 25% of the work. And I know so many people who just run to spells and magic at the slightest bit of resistance, at the slightest bit of, no, this isn't going to work out for you. And their whole world falls apart, and they want that instant gratification. And so they run to spellcasters, or tarot readers, or psychics, or whatever. What do I gotta do? What is holding me back? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Blah, 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 blah. That's not what magic's for. It's not there for you to ring a bell and say, okay, I want XYZ. Trust me, if it was, I would be living in a mansion in the middle of the woods with a big-ass swimming pool, 30 cats, 40 dogs, you know, just never having to worry about anything in my life. But I am extremely humble when I petition the gods and the universe and the divine, and just put it out there in very humble manners. I require this, and this. I would like this, and this. And if possible, can this also be given to me? Never make demands. That is the number one thing that you gotta know about utilizing any kind of witchcraft. Don't make demands. Anything that you summon up is there because it wants to serve, but you do not demand it. You always have to have respect. And if you are petitioning a god or a spirit, you must be respectful of that god or spirit. Be respectful, but also be assertively respectful when dealing with spirits. Like, spirit, I have called you up. I want you to do X, Y, Z. This is what you have been invoked for. This is your task. Thank you. And let it go on it. So, just be mindful that if you cast your spell, it may not work because there's other stuff in the background that is falling into place so that it can work. The other issue is that you may not be ready for this to happen. And it's not on your time schedule. It's what the universe, God, goddess, spirit, whatever, thinks is time for you. You might be thinking, it's time for me to move on, but every time you try to make a step forward, you take 6 back. That's spirit and the gods and goddesses, universe, whatever, pushing you and saying, no, you have yet to learn your lesson. There's still stuff you need to learn. So you're going to stay right here, you're going to hang on, open your eyes, and listen more than you speak. That is a huge thing. So many times we get caught up in the whole, woe is me, why isn't shit going right for me, why can't I move forward, why can't I do this, why can't I do that? And it's very simply that the divine doesn't want you to move on yet. You have not learned your lesson. You still have a cross to bear, you still have a lesson to learn, you still have something to teach somebody. So just take that into consideration when you are asking somebody to do magic for you, or you are trying to do a spell of your own and it does not work out, or it doesn't seem to be working. So many times I've had clients come to me and say, Mr. Overon, you cast a spell for me at this time and date, and it's now several weeks later and it has not worked. Are you sure it hasn't worked? It may not be the way that you wanted it to work out 100%, but are you sure it didn't work out? You know, you came to me and you asked me for a spell for financial help and for this, that, and the other thing. In the last 3 weeks, have you received any kind of money at all? Or found any money or whatever else? Well, yeah, I got this, and this, but it's not what I asked for. No, you asked for financial help to do this, that, or the other thing. You coming into these little denominations of money, be it $5 here, $20 here, or whatever else, that is money and gifts from the universe. That was to be put toward your ultimate goal of what you were asking for. Well, that's not what I wanted. I needed $500 for XY. Well, I'm sorry. You're not getting that $500. You got money toward that $500. The universe is not an ATM machine. You can only do so much utilizing magic. If magic worked like it did in the movies, there would be more witches, and we would all be able to snap our fingers, and our houses be clean. Woodland creatures come to the front door and like come in and take trash away or whatever else. Magic doesn't work like it does in Hollywood. You've got to remember that. And when you put a spell out, you set it and you forget it. Sitting around, like tapping your foot, checking your watch, doing whatever, expecting the spell to happen the same day that you cast it, you are going to be let down 100% of the time. When you approach it with humility in your heart and in your soul, then you will find that you are more often than not blessed with what you have asked for. But in the process of asking for blessings, you yourself have to bless. So it's a ripple effect. You're asking for blessings to come into your life. Now you have to bless somebody else. And you should want to bless other people with gifts, with help, with service, with sacrifice of self, without the want or the God, what is a good word? With expectation of personal gain. So for me, I manifested the car that I have. I put it into the universe every time that I stood at a bus stop, every time that I was waiting on a bus and the bus was late, or it was raining, or it was hot, or whatever else. I would take a moment, not to do the whoa woe is me, but I would put it into the universe, God, goddess, whoever, please bring transportation into my world, into my life, that I could utilize so that I could freely move from place to place whenever I needed to, however I needed to. And in turn, I will give a ride to any hitchhiker or any person who asks me for it, because I understand what it's like not to have. And I put that out there for probably 3-4 years. And finally, a car was blessed and given to me. Now, whenever I see a hitchhiker or somebody needs a ride or whatever, I will pull over and I will give them a ride. Typically, only if I'm in the car by myself will I do this. I don't normally pull over and allow for riders when there's other people in the car, because on the off chance that this person may be dangerous, I'd rather put my life in jeopardy than somebody else's. So that's the only kind of stipulation that I had with that. But now, whenever I see a hitchhiker or somebody walking on the side of the road, I will stop and ask them, do you need a ride? Would you like a ride? I'm going here or I'm going there. How can I help you? How can I bless you today? And I've driven almost 30 miles out of my way just to give somebody a ride. Just because I felt that that was my penance for receiving this car that I asked for. So there you are. I know that this is a super long video, so I'm going to stop here and just say at this point, don't expect your spells to work instantly, and give things time to work themselves out. The universe and witchcraft and whatever else is not on your time, you are on its time. When you cast a spell on a Monday, don't expect it to be done by Tuesday. Just give it time to fully come together. So, thank you guys for watching this far, and I really do appreciate all of you. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button and click the little bell icon to be notified whenever I upload a video. Also, if you would like to speak to me directly, you can do so in the comment section below, or shoot me an email at mroveron @gmail.com. And if you would like a tarot reading, or a spell cast, or just spiritual advice, head over to the website mroveron.com, and I will talk to you all later. Bye, witches!